Present.
Settler.
Present.
You have 7 board members present.
Thank you. For those who have watched our board meetings both in person and over the internet, you will remember we have rules of decorum. These rules serve a purpose so we as a board can have a meaningful and productive board meeting. In order for this to occur, decorum must be maintained. The following are the rules of decorum. There is no need for anyone to call out comments during our meeting, or to raise their voices, nor to interrupt another speaker or presenter. We as a board will listen to you and be respectful. We will consider your comments, but will not dialogue or engage with speakers in this forum. Board members may choose to discuss matters brought up during public comment during board discussion. However, I need to remind everyone that this would be a board discussion and not dialoguing or engaging with anyone other than the superintendent and other board members. I ask you to please be respectful and civil and courteous during our meeting. If a person chooses to be disruptive, I will gavel the person and ask them to please stop their disruptive behavior. Additionally, our district safety officer or his agent may warn them that if they choose to continue their disruptive behavior, additional consequences will be forthcoming. Number 3, if a person chooses to continue to be disruptive and not follow the rules, they will be removed from our meeting. This action is a direct result of the person's choice to be disruptive. Number 4, we as a board will respectfully listen to each speaker. Just because we didn't vote the way someone wanted us to does not mean we didn't listen or take into consideration what they had to say. Lastly, please remember we all learn differently. Some of us take notes during the presentations and therefore take our eyes off the speaker. It doesn't mean we are not listening. Number 5, in our effort to accommodate the ability for more seating in our boardroom, we respectfully request that the audience remain in their seats throughout the duration of the meeting, with the exception of using the restroom or speaking at the podium. And finally, I want to thank you in advance for your cooperation. The board and I look forward to a meaningful and productive meeting. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, I'd like to have Dr. Angela Ranke come to the podium to introduce our Sleepy Hollow students today.
Wow, this is a big crowd. Oh, buckets. Wow. Hello. Oh, wow.
I would like to thank Mrs. Harkin and the Board of Education for inviting Sleepy Hollow Elementary School to lead the Pledge of Allegiance today. During the week of September 19th, D300, along with other school districts and youth organizations across the country, participated in the Start with Hello campaign. Sleepy Hollow Elementary School dedicated that week to making new social connections and creating a sense of belonging with a variety of spirit days, acts of kindness, and icebreakers designed by our student advisor, Dr. Heather Hodel. The students leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance today were nominated by a staff member by going above and beyond with including everyone, encouraging their peers, and making sure everyone feels valued. I'm pleased to introduce the following students: Sebastian Wiggins, Graydon Schmidt, Ruby Salvaggio, Paulino Salcedo, Dylan Cobb, Diana Gomez, Ilyana Patel, and Mavish Lakhani. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Then come on up here. Parents, you have some great kids. Thank you very much for everything that you as parents do. We really appreciate it. You are more than welcome to, if you want to leave, you are more than welcome to leave. Or if you want to stick around for the board meeting, you're welcome to stick around. Totally up to you. Thank you again. We're on item number 5 now, the approval of the agenda. There are no additions to the agenda, so may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Madam Secretary, would you please take the roll?
Stevens?
Aye.
Zettler? Aye. Fiorentino?
Aye.
Burkett?
Aye.
Scarpino?
Aye.
Lamarca? Aye. Thomas? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Recognition, Superintendent Harkin.
Yes. Our SAT stars, perfect ACT scores, AP scholars, and national merit semifinalists. This is the first time in a couple of years that we've been able to have these people in person, and we look forward to recognizing your students tonight.
Yes, good evening, school board and Mrs. Harkin. We certainly are excited tonight to be able to, after a few years of hiatus, recognize in person some of our academic scholars throughout our 3 high schools. Certainly a lot of accomplishments on the academic front, and as you maybe see in other venues, a lot of these students carry over to a lot of extracurricular excellence as well. Some of them are here for a single recognition. Others, as you look at the screen, carry multiple. So before we go through the high schools, just to kind of give you an overview of the awards here, or honors, the SAT stars are students that scored a composite of 1,400 or higher on their SAT out of a total possible 1,600. That's a 2-part assessment with evidence-based reading and writing and mathematics. We also have a perfect ACT score holder. Someone in our district at Hampshire High School scored a perfect 36 on the ACT. And that obviously is an English reading, math, and science college admissions assessment. We have a slew of AP scholars. AP scholars are broken down into 3 distinctions: AP scholars with honor, and AP scholars with distinction. AP scholars are granted to students who receive scores of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. An AP scholar with honor is granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.25 on all of their exams and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more of these exams. And finally, an AP scholar with distinction is granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.5 on all AP exams taken, as well as a 3 or higher on 5 or more of these exams. Outstanding accomplishments for any of those categories. We also have in the past several years a growing AP capstone program. The AP capstone program will be highlighted tonight with either students that earned an AP capstone diploma or an AP seminar and research certificate. The AP capstone diploma is granted to students who earned scores of 3 or higher in AP seminar and AP research and on 4 additional AP exams of their choosing. The AP seminar and research certificate is granted to students who earn scores of 3 or higher in both the AP seminar and AP research. Finally, we do have 2 national merit semifinalists in our district schools. Of 1.6 million entrants, 16,000 only of the highest scores are recognized as a national merit semifinalist in September from the PSAT and MSQT tests taken in the fall of their junior year. Unfortunately, as I alluded to with extracurriculars and a lot of well-rounded obligations, not all of our students are able to make it tonight, but we're happy for those that were able to make it here in person to be honored, and hopefully those that are not here know from their schools that we do value the hard work that they do and honor their work as well. So I'm going to first bring Mrs. Wachowski, principal of Dundee Crown, to the podium, who will honor the students at DC that were able to make our attendance tonight.
Hello, I'm excited to present to you 3 of our students who are being recognized tonight. The students in attendance who are Dundee Crown AP Scholars are Denaysing Rithord and Ianu Olua Shanukin. And our AP Scholar with Honors is Andrea Yavona. There we go. Great work. Congratulations.
Next, I'd like to welcome Mrs. Barb Valley to the podium, who will introduce students at Jacobs High School.
Oh, wow. You just keep coming.
Good evening, Board of Education and Superintendent Harkin. Tonight we have a handful of our outstanding students here to be recognized. First, we have Alexander Besonov, AP Scholar with Distinction. We have Aiden DeMuth, AP Scholar with Distinction. We have Morgan Cavan, 1400 or higher on his SAT. We have Sahasra Katakanda, AP Scholar. We have Sankirth Madali, AP Scholar. We have Lindsay Miserandino, AP Seminar with Research Certificate and AP Scholar. We have Anay Patel, AP Scholar with Distinction and 1400 or higher on his SAT. We have Nidhi Patel, AP Scholar with Distinction and 1400 or higher on her SAT. Diego Rivera, AP Scholar with Honor. Nathaniel Santosa, AP Scholar, AP Seminar and Research Certificate, and SAT higher than 1400. Ishal Saeed, AP Scholar. Mackenzie Sindles, AP Scholar with Honor. Colin Van, AP Scholar with Distinction. Natalie Varela, AP Scholar with Honor. Samantha Wines, AP Scholar. And Sean Yaminski, AP Scholar. Congratulations.
Step back here, yeah, let's step back here. Outstanding job. That's impressive, folks. Wow.
And lastly, I'd like to introduce Mr. Nate Danielson, Associate Principal of Curriculum and Instruction from Hampshire High School, to the podium to introduce students from Hampshire High School.
In case anybody's wondering, this is the most fun part of our job.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And could I ask when you introduce these people that they raise their hands so we know who they are? Thank you.
And I agree, this is the most fun part of my job as well. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board and Superintendent Harkin. It is my pleasure to introduce to you many of Hampshire's finest that we have here tonight. First, we're going to recognize the SAT stars, those who achieved a 1400 or higher on their SAT that are with us. Genevieve Bangert, Jack Gaulick, Cooper Jaworski, Landon Lamarca, Shiv Patel, Zedric Suarez, and Tyler Yu. We did have one perfect ACT score at Hampshire. That belonged as well to Shiv Patel. We had a number of AP scholars of different categories. First, for the AP scholars, we had Cody Adamczyk, Benjamin Bennick, Riley Dobush, Grace Harris, Amina Hatanaka, Yash Hathi, Julia Malchevska, Brock Riddle, and Julia Vonik. AP Scholars with Honors, we had Lily Farnham and Dia Patel. And AP Scholars with Distinction, we had Genevieve Bangert, Owen Kuplin, Jack Gaulick, Cooper Jaworski, Landon Lamarca, Shiv Patel, Ishal Shakur, Zedric Suarez, and Tyler Yu. We had several students who attained the AP Seminar and Research Certificate, one who is with us today, and that's again Lily Farnham. And then we had a number of our AP Capstone Diploma winners, including Genevieve Bangert, Owen Kuplin, Jack Gaulick, Cooper Jaworski, Landon Lamarca, Shiv Patel, and Ishal Shakur. And I'd like to say one thing about Shiv in particular. Shiv actually scored a perfect score on his AP research exam. He was one of 306 students worldwide to do that. Hampshire also had a National Merit Semi-Finalist given to the top scores on the SAT, and that was Genevieve Bangert.
Okay. Moms and dads, thank you for the opportunity to have your kids here. Great job, parents. Oh, wonderful.
And at the risk of being a little bit awkward here, I've kept behind Landon Lamarca, and there's a specific reason for that. So I apologize if I upset the apple cart a little bit with that. Landon stands before you here today, and as you heard with Shiv Patel scoring a perfect on the AP research project, Landon did that as well. So he was one of 306 students worldwide to do that. But not only that, he also took the AP Computer Science Principal exam and was one of 196 students worldwide to score a perfect on that exam as well.
Wow. Wow.
So those in of themselves, an amazing accomplishment. The true mind-numbing stat comes when you consider how many students actually scored a perfect on those two exams. Ladies and gentlemen, Landon Lamarca was one of 9 students in the world to accomplish that feat.
Wow. Wow. Wow, Mom, Dad. Wow. Congratulations. Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
That's very impressive. Jeez.
Hi. Thank you, parents. Thanks, Dad. Thank you.
Does that come from mom or dad's side?
Good news, board members.
We have
Oh, we have,
one more
I'm sorry,
student
I'm sorry, I'm
recognition.
sorry. I'm
Nope.
sorry.
So Magaly Escobedo, if you would like to come up to the front, please. We're happy to have you here tonight. So we're here tonight to recognize Magaly Escobedo for the Blue Ribbon Society, which recognizes individuals who demonstrate admirable qualities aligned to District 300 central mission to provide engaging and inclusive educational experiences that empower and equip all students to discover, innovate, and succeed now into the future. And it's my sincere pleasure to present tonight's Blue Ribbon Society Award to Magaly, a 7th grade student from Westfield Community School. Magaly is the author of a recently published book, My Mind, A Killer in Disguise. And we do have copies of them that all the board members have been given tonight, so we're happy to have this book from you. This details how it's okay for children to talk and gain a healing in their own way after a difficult situation occurs. Magaly recently experienced 2 family tragedies, and she wrote this book as a way to express her feelings and help others who are also struggling with life's challenges. Magaly has received multiple awards relating to her writing, including the Viva Excellence Award from the City of Aurora. In a few years, Magaly plans to write another book, and ultimately, she hopes to become a crime scene investigator and scientist. I'm delighted to share that I have a copy of Magaly's book, just as many of you do as well, too. And I just ask as you to shake her hand, but also if we could have you sign their copies as you come through as well, too, that we'd greatly appreciate that. But we definitely, you're a testimony of what we would want from a District 300 student. To persevere during some of the biggest challenges that you've experienced in your life is really a testament to what an awesome student and an awesome person you are, and really appreciate that you took the time to channel your energies in a way that I think are definitely one that you're an inspiration to all of our students. So congratulations on your accomplishment, Magaly. We have a certificate and a pin that welcomes you into the District 300 Blue Ribbon Recognition Club. So if we can bring you forward and have you sign, that would be awesome. So we'll bring you back through.
Come up here, okay. Wow, look at that. Thank you very much, appreciate it. Congratulations to you. A lot of good things going on in the district. So proud of the kids. So proud of them.
And who is here with Magaly tonight? Yeah, and you're her aunt then? Wonderful. Your cousin, wonderful. Multiple of you with, yeah, awesome. We really appreciate you being here to support her tonight. Oh, and the teacher, right? Yeah, awesome, fantastic. Yeah, counselor, awesome. We have multiple people here, so really appreciate the support that's been given, especially from Mr. President.
Alive.
I read the part of it, it's really, really good.
The dean did this one time.
see you again soon. All right, perfect.
We asked Magaly, where is this book available to purchase? It's on Amazon, okay, thank you.
And I've gotten through about half of it sitting here, and it's really, really good. Great job, Magaly.
And that ends student recognition and staff. Student recognition, I believe.
Okay. Board announcements, good news.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Outstanding.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I can just jump on this. Do you have a good news? The mic is on.
Yeah, I know.
District 300 named one of Niche's 2023 best school districts in Illinois. Niche, an organization that provides rankings for K-12 school districts, colleges, and neighborhoods, has released the 2023 rankings for the best school districts in Illinois. Niche has named District 300 one of the best school districts. According to its website, Niche ranked 413 school districts. Rankings are calculated by several factors, including test scores, data from the Department of Education, and opinions from parents and students. To provide historical context, in 2014, Niche ranked District 300 as the 136th district in Illinois. In last year's ranking, the district advanced 66 spots to the 70th school district in Illinois. And with the new rankings, District 300 has advanced an additional 10 spots and has been ranked as the 60th best school district in the state. Congratulations to the District 300 staff, students, and its entire community who have helped our district achieve this success.
Jacobs High School student makes 3D part to fix CPR mannequins used in health classes. Jacobs High School junior Jack Baldwin used his skills in computer-aided design and 3D printing to create a replacement part for the CPR mannequins used in the school's health classes. After Jacobs nurse Sheila Fitzpatrick discovered the vendor of the CPR mannequins does not offer the replacement part that was needed, fellow nurse Marge Zielinski suggested teacher Fernando Medina could possibly have one of his students create the part using the school's 3D printing equipment. Jack was identified as a great fit for the project. After some trial and error, Jack was able to create a pin-like part for the mannequin heads that Mrs. Zielinski said works better than the original part. In addition, the part can be replicated again if needed. District 300 applauds Jack's innovation in successfully creating the replacement part for the CPR mannequins at Jacobs High School.
Midnight Mile event returns to Dundee Middle School. Dundee Middle School recently hosted its first Midnight Mile event since 2018. Midnight Mile is a fitness-focused event where each participating team must have at least one member jogging or running on a track over a 24-hour period. This year, Dundee Middle School saw more than 300 students and 15 parents participate. Gina Hurley, a PE teacher at Dundee Middle School, said the students spent 6 weeks preparing for this year's Midnight Mile, which included check-ins with parents and meeting specific criteria outlined by the school, all of which help teach students accountability. Ms. Hurley noted it takes practice for students to develop the stamina needed to participate in the Midnight Mile, especially when it starts getting dark and the kids get tired. It's a good lesson in being resilient when things get hard, she said. The kids did fantastic. District 300 congratulates Dundee Middle School on hosting a successful Midnight Mile. I'd also like to add that my daughter participated and I was there as a volunteer and I saw how much hard work went into making that event happen and what a great experience it was for our students. So I'd personally like to thank Dundee Middle School staff who made that possible.
Last Tuesday, District 300 hosted 4 meetings to engage with community stakeholders. Leadership from the district met with representatives from local faith-based groups, those involved in real estate and area chambers of commerce, officials from local government agencies, including village offices, police and fire departments, libraries, and park districts, and those involved in the parent-teacher organizations affiliated with District 300 schools. Information covered during the 4 meetings included an overview of the district's new strategic plan, an update on academics, and a review of district safety. These meetings align with District 300's strategic plan, and as they ensure all stakeholders, including community members, have a voice in guiding district decision-making. District 300 appreciates the input of those who attended the meetings and thanks participants for building strong relationships with the district.
We have not had anyone sign up for public participation, so we will move on to item number 9, the superintendent's report.
Yes, I'd like to introduce or bring Cara Vicente and Dr. Liz Freeman to the podium to speak about our Aspiring Pipelines program.
Good evening. Oops, let's see. All right, I think we're on now. Good evening, Board of Education, Superintendent Harkin. Dr. Freeman and I are pleased to share with you information about our Aspiring Leaders Pipelines this evening. District 300 currently offers 3 Aspiring Leaders Pipelines for staff who are interested in exploring new opportunities. We have an Aspiring Coaches Program, an Aspiring Administrators Leadership Program, and an Aspiring Principals Program. All 3 of these leadership opportunities are offered to our staff at no cost to them. We feel this is an excellent opportunity for our staff, for their growth, and an opportunity to attract people into our district that we offer these long-term growth opportunities for them. So our first program that we wanted to talk briefly about is our Aspiring Coaches Program. It is designed to build capacity within our highly skilled D300 teachers and help them determine if they would be a good fit for coaching in their careers. They get an opportunity to experience what it would be like to be in a coaching role on a day-to-day basis. We currently have 5 coaching roles in our district: digital learning coach, inclusivity coach, a language or EL coach, literacy coach, and math coach. We have 53 instructional coaches in the district. Over the course of the last 4 years, we've had 43 participants in our Aspiring Coaches program. Our second program we wanted to highlight is the Aspiring Administrator program. This cohort is designed to support current D300 teachers and staff as they learn more about the role of being an administrator. We know how critical it is to build our own bench and have been working to do so for multiple years. During this cohort, members have an opportunity to learn about a variety of topics in administration. Administrative jobs vary greatly, from assistant principals to dean to ed service specialists, division heads, principalships. So there is a wide variety that our people may have interest in. During this time, they have an opportunity to practice interviewing. They have an opportunity to actually shadow an administrator for a day, and they focus on a lot of topics that administrators work with on a regular basis. There are qualifications to be part of this program. You can see up above that they do need to be in a Type 75 or principal or educational leadership program, and they need to have that completed so that they actually do have a significant interest, and they do need to be a staff member who's been rated proficient or excellent. Over the course of the last 5 years, we've had 44 participants in our Aspiring Administrator program, and we have had over 15 participants in the program accepted as an administrator or a student advisor in our district after following this program. So not only do we have active participation from our staff, they are at a level that they're being selected for those job roles, which we're very pleased about. Liz is going to talk briefly about our Aspiring Principal program.
Thank you. Good evening. The Aspiring Principal program is designed to support current D300 administrators who are looking to grow in their professional practice. This program focuses on the responsibilities of building principals, The activities include those that you see listed there on the screen. Participants engage in a baseline screener interview, and after the interview, they get individualized feedback on their responses. There's monthly seminars, and you see some topics listed there for you. They also get to shadow a principal. I joke, from sunrise to sunset. They follow in the principal's shoes to see what it's really like to lead a building. And then, of course, there's exit interviews as well to help our participants practice those interview skills. We typically average 4 to 5 participants in our Aspiring Principals program each time it's offered. So our aspiring pipelines typically meet October through May. We get them started at the beginning of the school year, and they run with meetings roughly once a month. Anyone who wanted to participate has recently filled out a participation interest survey, so we've tallied those responses, and then our ultimate enrollment will dictate and determine if we hold the pipeline for the 22-23 school year. So these are just an overview of a few of our leadership programs. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Board members? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dr. Freeman, I think you stay up there because you will be going over our e-learning program verification renewal.
All right, switching gears here, we have our next topic, which is our e-learning program verification renewal. And just to set the stage, this is a re-verification of a program that's been in place at D300 already for a number of years. The Illinois State Board of Education allows districts to request verification of their e-learning programs. We last brought this to you in December 2019, and that verification was valid for 3 years, which is why we're bringing it forward to you again. As a refresh of e-learning, you see some specifics there on the screen. This day can only be used in lieu of an emergency day and is limited to the number of emergency days in the board-approved calendar. Superintendent Harkin will determine if a day is classified as an emergency day or an e-learning day. E-learning days do not extend the last day of the school year. An emergency day, on the other hand, does need to be made up at the end of the school year. E-learning allows students to continue their learning without interruption. And I'd like to note that e-learning is not the same as remote learning, which was the instructional approach that happened during the global pandemic. Here you will see how the emergency days are currently scheduled. If Superintendent Harkin were to call an e-learning day, the day counts as a day of instruction and would not need to be made up at the end of the year. In contrast, if the day to be used were an emergency day, we would make up that day at the end of the year. Here you see the verification timeline. This is a standard process for many public notices. Tonight is the presentation with the board, which will be followed by public communication about this re-verification. In October, this topic will be back on a board agenda for a vote. As a reminder, this program has existed at D300 for a number of years, and this is a re-verification so that Superintendent Harkin has flexibility should we be faced with inclement weather. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Board members, anything? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so I would like to introduce and have Dr. Yvette Dubiel, who is with Systemic Educational Equity, come to the podium, Adrian Harries, and then we're going to have a host of our district equity leadership team come up to present on our equity action plan. So I'll turn it over to you, Adrian.
Good evening, Superintendent Harkin, School Board. Normally I am short and concise, but tonight I am extremely giddy. It is the culmination of 2.5 years of work. So excuse me if I'm a little roundabout. Very quickly, a little backdrop. This work started in 2021 when our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee that started out with 30 parents and dwindled down to about 20 very consistent, solid people stood here before you and asked permission to start an equity audit. Fortunately, you all said yes, and that's how we got into a wonderful partnership with Dr. Yvette Dubiel, who's been a wonderful caretaker and leader throughout this process. Before I go any further, I do want to applaud our team because I know I've got a number of people that just finished our equity action plan, which is what I'm here to present to you tonight, that are in the audience, and I am going to put you on blast. If you could please stand, take a quick bow if you are on this list and you know who you are. I see everybody. Please stand and thank you. And the reason I do that is these are the people that will be spearheading, continuing this work. While tonight is a beautiful culminating event, because I am introducing the action plan, our work is really just beginning to ramp up. And these are the people that will help me to ensure that we become a more inclusive, equitable school system for all. So thank you all once again. So really quick, the purpose of the equity action plan. I want to stress that D300, it still goes along with our mission, which is to provide engaging and inclusive educational experiences that empower and equip all students to discover, innovate, and succeed now and in the future. And that was huge for us as a district, is to make sure that everything coincided. Our mission, our equity action plan, which I will unveil in a minute, but that was very important, not only for me, but it was a big deal for Superintendent Harkin. And the action plan, the equity action plan that we're going to introduce the objectives for tonight is just to serve as a tool to ensure that we are addressing our vision for all students. All right. And so very quickly, I'm going to let Dr. Dubiel talk because I'll talk your ear off tonight. But very quickly, these are quick bullets of some historical events that took place prior to our audit. Dr. Dubiel is going to kind of take you through a little bit of the process that we went through in our equity audit. Let me hush.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So just a brief reminder about the equity audit process. So your district has proactively sought out an equity audit. So an equity audit for a school district is a 9 to 12-month process, and there are 5 phases to it. The first phase involved the district assembling a team, also known as a district equity leadership team. That team is ascertained so that we can complete phase 1. During phase 1, 3 major tasks have to occur. The team has to complete a needs assessment where they're assessing their district in 10 major components based on the rubric provided and providing some constructive critique, some insights, some strengths, and some areas of needed improvement. The second task that needs to be completed during phase 1 is where the team identifies what type of data they believe the district should gather, ascertain, and then provide to us so that we can synthesize. The data can range anywhere from the demographics of students to the students' final grades to students who are participating in extracurricular activities. The team decides what pieces of data, and ideally it is data that's multiple years so we can identify trends. The last thing that is accomplished during phase 1 with the district equity leadership team is feedback on the focus groups. So the equity audit utilizes a mixed method approach. The qualitative involves the focus groups and survey. So the team receives some structure about how many focus groups takes place, and that's completely based on which package a school district chooses, as there's different time and different pricing for each of the equity audits, so they determine which one fits their need. And then they also determine the different stakeholders that will be participating. Your district identified, I believe, 4 different stakeholders: students, staff, community, and alumni. At participating, the focus groups, the team also receives a bank of questions. They're not limited to those questions. They have a lot of conversations about what questions they like, they don't like, ultimately decide the questions that was decided upon during focus groups. That's critical to recognize because it does vary greatly from organization to organization. After phase 1 of the equity audit takes place, phase 2 and 3 occur simultaneously. Phase 2 is where the district has their homework and they're gathering all that data. It's quite a bit of data and it takes several months to do. And then phase 3 are the focus groups. During the focus group time, there was a survey that was also distributed to the same stakeholders listed earlier. Phase 4 is the data analysis. All the data has been completed or collected and synthesized independent for us to examine. And then phase 5 is the report, which you have all seen. The report of the equity audit identifies what is known as an accountability framework. The accountability framework is called the 5 strands of systemic equity. What districts typically do following the report, it can be overwhelming. So they decide, well, what's a priority? What can we do with every limited resource that we have, is there are limited resources in every organization. So what Adrian and the team will shortly share with you is what of those findings they have decided to prioritize, but they're also not limited to those findings. So they have a lot of conversation. Perhaps it is something that is already in the works that we can embed and include in the Equity Action Plan. So that's what they will be speaking to in just a moment.
All right, so I am going to have the people that are our Strand leaders come on up. So my strand is the system strand. I co-lead that with Superintendent Harkin. A lot of the early due dates are for the system strands, because one of the things that we realize in going through the process is we have to build some structure so that some of our other strands can operate. And so very quickly, systems has 5 key elements to the strand for 5 key objectives. First and foremost, we need to develop common language around equity and effectively communicate it with all stakeholders. Secondly, we've got to produce a board policy, which I know is part of our agenda for tonight, a board statement and or a district statement on equity. That way everyone is moving to the same plan. Third, implement intentional, measurable, accountable, and transparent equity goals. Fourth, increase strategic practices to attract and retain highly qualified, diverse members for all employee groups. And last but not least, because it's something that we've already started, that I'm very proud of, we are going to develop a commemorative heritage calendar to honor various cultural backgrounds. And that's something that we started last year. We knew that this process was coming, so we put it on pause so that we can embed it in this process, and we'll be starting that up again next month. All right, so those are the 5 key objectives under our system strand. I'm going to turn the floor over to Liz, who leads our next strand. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Harries. My name is Liz Freeman, Chief Academic Officer, and with me is Clarissa Solowanachek, Inclusivity Coach. As you have just heard, some of this important work occurs at the board level. We also are focusing on teaching and learning. Here you will see 4 objectives that fall under the category of teaching and learning. We will be focusing on inclusive practices related to curriculum frameworks, resources, and instructional practices at both the secondary and elementary levels. While the process for the first 2 items will be very similar, we expect the approach will vary based on the student grade level, which is why you see them listed as 2 objectives. We will be reviewing data to determine how to best meet the needs of all students, and we will create an action plan for this work moving forward. These objectives will be accomplished through collaboration between administration and LEAD as part of our curriculum writing process to determine how inclusive practices are embedded into the curriculum frameworks, resources, and instruction at various grade levels. We will use existing assessments and other data sources to regularly analyze how our inclusive integration is impacting core academic progress for each of our student groups. We will continuously evaluate our work and will make appropriate adjustments as needed. The district equity leadership team is confident that these 4 objectives will create a strong foundation for promoting an inclusive learning environment for our students at District 300.
Good evening. I'm Shelley Nackey. I'm the Chief of Education Services, and I have the honor of co-facilitating this standard with Sydney Osborne, an inclusivity coach with our district. So for Strand 3, this aligns directly with our strategic plan of Goal 1 of the whole child. So we do have the 3 standards in there. So standard 1 of that sense of belonging within each individual building and community. This aligns to things that we already have aligned in our strategic plan, such as restorative practices, trauma-informed practices, CPI, getting out of your head day that you guys honored at our last board meeting. Our second objective is establishing that sense of belonging, inclusive within each individual building to give student voice. We know student voice is important. They need to be heard. They need to be listened to. How can we help support them to be a part of their school community? And our third one is to address the discrepancies that we may have in student discipline data to have them as a sense of belonging, to be able to have discipline and safety within that sense of dignity within the school setting.
Thank you, Shelley. My name's Cara Vicente. I'm the Deputy Superintendent, and I'm one of the co-facilitators for Strand 4. With me tonight are Dr. Martina Smith, Assistant Superintendent from Title I Schools, and Inclusivity Coach Kelly Stefanski, who are co-facilitators for Strand 4. There are 4 objectives within the professional development strand of this plan, and you can see those 4 listed on the screen. These objectives provide a continuum of professional learning and growth opportunities for all staff in the pursuit of educational equity. And as you can see, we've outlined which employee groups will receive which of those professional development opportunities. 3 of the objectives provide for foundational training to staff aligned to their job role to ensure that we share a common knowledge and understanding of equity work. District 300 staff have the opportunity to expand and deepen their learning with differentiated professional development opportunities offered through a variety of modules. Current opportunities that we are expecting to offer include but are not limited to District 300 University courses, ed-to-ed conference sessions, and collaborative coaching opportunities. In addition, we plan and ensure that new staff who join the district receive foundational training through unique onboarding processes. So each of our employee groups does have an onboarding process, and we'll be ensuring that professional development related to our equity work is included in those onboarding processes. So as new staff join our organization, they too receive the appropriate professional development regarding in the area of our equity work. All right, I'm going to turn this over to our Strand 5.
Thank you, Cara. My name is Chris Sainsbury, Chief of Schools, and my Strand 5 partner is Inclusivity Coach Amy Rodriguez. She was unable to be with us this evening, but sends her wishes. Strand 5, Family and Community as Agency, encompasses the work of all 4 previous strands and serves to extend learning objectives to the parent and community groups. As such, Strand 5 will work closely with team members from those strands on a regular basis to ensure cohesive and common actions that are consistent with our equity mission. Our first objective, 5.1, charges our team to ensure we have school and district level parent groups that are representative of the student population. This will function primarily as a needs assessment in alignment with teaching and learning, student voice, climate, and culture equity goals. 5.2 is focused on parent learning within the areas of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We see parent learning group objectives mirroring some of the same learning outcomes that are in place for our staff, as mentioned in some of the previous strands. On a larger scale, 5.3 is in place to obtain regular feedback to gauge the progress of district equity goals from our family and community groups. Lastly, Objective 5.4 focuses our team on aspects of effective communication. We will work closely with our communications department to move this goal forward. Our goal is to ensure district messaging opportunities that meet the communication style and needs of all of our parents and communities. Dr. Harries, I think it's up to you.
Thank you. As you can see, it was very important to us that everybody come to speak to their strand, and very quickly, reason being is as we continue to move this work forward, each strand will have to work independently. There are a lot of elements of work that we've laid out, and so all of the strand leaders that came up to present, they will be working with a group of 4 to 5 people to move their individual strand. And it was a beautiful pairing and partnership between our administrative cabinet and our inclusivity coaches. So it was important to me that all parties were able to come up and be presented tonight. And so I'm looking forward to continuing this work. Like I said, I'm a proud papa today, so super excited. So,
board members, any questions or comments? Mr. Stevens.
I'm not sure if this is a question or a comment, but it's very impressive what you've all done, and I'm really pleased to see that it's moving forward. But in my thinking, a lot of the things that you're focusing on here have been the topic of public participation conversations over the last year in a not so pleasant way. Are we doing something to address that as part of this? Will this become more public? I mean, obviously it's public now because you presented it, but is there a focus on the people who are so negative right now in this community? And how do we address them? Because I'm not sure you'll ever change anybody's mind, but I think we need to reach out to them because I've been fairly vocal the last couple of meetings. I'm very disappointed at the public comments. I'm very disappointed in people's attitudes towards many of the things covered here. I think what you're doing is extremely important, and I just think we need to make it very well known what we're doing, why we're doing it, and give people the opportunity to have a dialogue. So that's my only statement, is that
No, and I'm a firm believer that our goal is to help everybody grow in terms of their education, but also in terms of how they represent us in our community. And I think if we do the things that we've outlined well and show people that this helps to grow all students, I think that we can get back to a place where we're having civil discourse. Because I think and we talk about this, and that those are part of the things that stopped. I can disagree with you and still walk away loving you, and somehow we hit a snag there, and I don't know how we hit a snag there. I don't always agree with all of my friends, but we agree to disagree on certain subjects. At the end of the day, our job is to educate the entirety of all of our kids, and sometimes that's letting them know, look, that doesn't mean we have to see eye to eye. Our job is to educate you. So,
well, I would like to. I'm only one board member.
I understand.
I would like to see some effort, either on the part of the board or on the part of your committee or part of the different strands, when we hear things come up in public participation that are so troubling.
Yeah.
To make ourselves available to have a conversation with those people. I doubt that you're going to change your mind, but I think that by us doing this, we're going to help everybody come along. I think that's pie in the sky.
I understand. Some of the most beautiful conversations I've had have actually been because people said some things at board meetings, and they reached out, and I reached out, and we had some lovely dialogue. Now, at the end of the day, we still didn't move away seeing eye to eye, but we moved away, and I consider those people to be friends, and I would love to sit down and have conversation with them anytime they reach out.
There's a difference in not seeing eye to eye,
exactly,
and being violently opposed to what you're saying.
Understood.
And I would fine with people that don't agree with me. That's fine.
Yeah.
But dialogue has to take place, and I just like to see some forum for that. And I think that if it would be valuable to you, and you have to decide that the board could or should be involved. I'm not saying they should be, but if it's helpful to you, do not be afraid to call on us.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Liz.
No, go ahead.
Just to, I think, add to what Mr. Stevens is saying, it's not, I look at it as not changing minds necessarily. It's opening hearts, right? That's a lot of what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
So when you open hearts, you may not move someone completely in the direction that this team or an individual believes.
Mm-hmm.
But to Mr. Stevens' point, and I was actually, kind of, as you were talking, how are we going to show? You said show. What does that look like? I think that we have a lot of talent in our communication staff and the group that you've put together. I think we need to do that. We need to be. It needs to be part of the strategic plan so that people understand it and understand all the good works and the what and how it's happening.
Well, we've been waiting for tonight so that we could release a little bit more information. We didn't want to jump and release information before it was ready to be shared. We are about growing all of our kids, and so now that we've shared some of the information from the EAP, I'm sure some of it will find its way online.
This is not the light that needs to be kept under the bushel.
Oh, no, I agree and understand.
Ms. Lamarca?
Oh, yeah. Well, I just want to say, too, that I think microphone is weird. I think the work you've done is really tremendous. And I remember, a couple of years ago when some of us signed up for Dr. Dubiel. Sorry if I'm not saying your name for that class. I'll be honest, I was like, well, I was really interested in it and I was anxious to take part in it. I was like, I really didn't know what I was getting into. I'm just being completely honest.
No.
And I just learned so much. And I mean, doors were opened in my old mind that it was really great. And so then when you proposed the audit, your group, and you said that you're partnering with Dr. I was like, oh my gosh, like we get you and her and all this horsepower. It's amazing. So kudos on all that. My only question is that I love how it's broken down in strands, and I get how everybody has to work independently, obviously, but what is the plan? And if you said this, I apologize, but then what is the plan for kind of like regularly reevaluate? Is there like a regular audit that occurs?
So basically, that initial team, that we will be coming back together every quarter, basically 4 times a year. And so when we reconvene, it will really be to look at our progress in each. So one of the things that Dr. Dubiel had us create is a progress monitoring process. So at the end of each quarter, there are expectations that we need to accomplish. So that will be kind of the purpose for when we come back together. Where are we in hitting the goals or tasks that we've laid out to move an objective? And so each team will have to weigh out or kind of express what we hit, what we didn't hit, what we need to modify. So that's our built-in accountability metric. And that's why we will bring back together the whole team. The whole team is made up of about 31 individuals. And so, you have to come before the 31 and express why you didn't hit your objective. I think that's enough built-in accountability. But I also see, we've got a team that really wants to make sure that they hit everything. And so one of the beautiful things about this process is, and I have to give Susan Harkin her kudos, because I go quick and go fast, and I wanted to be there a year and a half ago. And you got to bring everybody along. If you get there and not everybody's with you, did you do anything? And so she slowed me down, and now I think we're in a much better place. Because as you saw tonight, I've got a beautiful team, and so we're moving this as a collective. And if we were able to see like the strategic plan process, a lot of what we've laid out is interwoven in that. And so I think systemically, you have a plan that really can stand the test of times. So,
can you tell me what your expectation is for when you will next report to the board, and what you will be reporting, and how often that'll occur?
I leave my boss.
So the plan is, because we want the strategic plan as part, the equity action plan as part of the strategic plan. So the plan would be as we bring back the strategic plan and do our quarterly monitoring, you'd get quarterly updates with that as well too.
Okay.
We want them woven together, to his point, so that it is a cohesive approach.
Go ahead.
Maybe I missed this, but the coaches that stood up with the administrative team, are they school-based coaches?
So each one of our high schools has a inclusivity coach. This year, we also brought Kelly Stefanski aboard. She represents our middle schools, and basically she provides support for 4 of our 5 middle schools. And the only reason it's not all 5 is I've got a soft spot for CMS. Anytime Matt and CMS calls, I go running. So I told her she didn't have to do all 5 of our middle schools.
Okay.
So
as we think about those updates to the board, I would really love hearing from some of those coaches directly, if that could be part of the plan.
Yeah, our coaches are not shy, and when it comes to sharing what they deal with, and they they beautiful group. They've dove in. They challenge me. They're challenging the schools to just be better and do better. So I've got a great team.
So I've spent a long time working with Adrian and his team, and I'm part of Del2 just as mostly an observer with a great group of people. Everybody's working really hard, and I just want to remind everybody that we had a really good example tonight with all the amazing students that walked through here and the diversity that was included in that group, who are all doing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things. And the only way that we're going to keep producing kids like that is to make sure that every single one of those kids is supported in any way possible that they need to be. And that's what we're doing this for. We're doing it so that we can make sure that we're reaching every single child who walks in the door in a school here and make them feel valued, wanted, safe, and loved. And that's exactly why we're doing this. There's no other hidden agenda. We just want to support our kids.
Great
And,
comments.
well, it's true. It's the truth. And, you know, everybody here that has been working on this is working their butts off on this, and they're doing it for the right reason. They're doing it with a lot of heart. So I'm glad to be part of it, and I'm glad we're here, and Dr. Dubiel is amazing, and Adrian is amazing, and everybody here we're all doing it for the right reason. We're all heading in the right direction, and we're all getting it done. It may not happen overnight, but it's going to be strong when it's finished. So thank everybody.
Thank you.
Any other board members?
I don't know, I kind of feel like this all deserves some applause. I'm sorry, Robbie.
Thank you.
Good job, Adrian.
Thank you.
All right, so since, I'll do this one if you're okay.
Wait, Christine has some.
I just, again, want to thank you. Having seen the work that's been going on, I'm so proud that we're continuing to move forward and being measured in it and thoughtful in it and really trying to make sure that we do it right and that we bring, like you said, everybody along as best we can to understand what this is really about.
Mm-hmm.
This was an activity, Superintendent Harkin and members of the public, this was an activity that many board members participated in. And so we actually went to their meetings, we participated in their meetings. We had to be careful when there were 4 of us there that we couldn't talk to each other, but they really, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much for everything you do. Adrian?
So, yeah, so I'll take this next one over. So while I go slow, I do like to go fast. So one of the first objectives that we have is to have the board look at a board equity policy. So I want to go through that process, and so that is on the agenda for discussion tonight, as well as hopefully that if you're in agreement with it, it would be what you would vote on for the next meeting. One thing I want to acknowledge is that our equity work is grounded in the equal educational opportunities requirements as outlined in the Illinois Human Rights Act. So, you know, this protects individuals from unlawful discrimination and guarantees freedom from discrimination for all of the various groups that are listed up there. And again, our process is making sure every student in our schools feels welcome, and that's the grounding of our equity work. We already have several current board policies that speak to the issues of equity, whether it be policy 2.260 on our uniform grievance procedure, educational philosophy 6.10, school accountability 6.15, equal education opportunities policy 7.10, school district policy that creates environments that ensures equal opportunities to celebrate diversity 1.30, Title IX sexual harassment grievance procedures, and prevention and response of bullying, intimidation, harassment based upon those items that are listed there. So you already have many board policies that speak to equity, but the intention would be is to develop a board policy that aligns to our district mission, recognizes historical disparities that are currently in our education system, and looks towards eradicating some of the longstanding inequities that are currently perhaps barriers for our students. So policy overview is that's the why we're doing it. And then what we would ask that the board would commit to is fostering an inclusive educational environment where all students feel a sense of belonging. Our work centers around belonging, making sure that every kid that comes into our school system feels that they belong, not because of who they are, but because they deserve to belong in our system. So the first piece is that's the grounding of all of our work, is making sure every student feels like they belong. Then we'd look to eliminate and minimize disparities based upon reviewing our policies and strategies to make sure that as we do things, are there things that are inherently in our system that create barriers for students' success? We would then commit to providing differentiated resources aligned to our equity action plan, which was the 5 strands of systemic equity that we just spoke about. So this solidifies that work that we just presented to you tonight. And then you would hold me, the superintendent, accountable to, and all the district staff for making sure that we're making measurable progress in ensuring that these mandates are met. And that at a minimum, that you direct me to develop action plans with clear accountability and metrics to to accomplish these commitments. So this in front of you today would be solidified in the board policy, that this is kind of an overview of it. But this, again, then connects to make sure that we're in alignment with some of the things you spoke about, and we've got a written document that requires us to follow through with it. Would answer any questions that you have on this board policy, which I think ties everything up in a nice bow on how we move this work forward.
Board members, any questions, right?
Susan, how does this differ from the statement that the board made a couple of years ago when Ann was still here and stuff? And I'm the same sort of issues, but not as, not as detailed, I guess.
So a statement is just what you believe in. A policy is what we're required to follow, which says you're going to hold me accountable to make sure that these action plans that we've developed, that we will follow through and make sure we're providing you with updates and measuring them. So it actually then takes the action plan, takes that statement, translates it to an action plan, and then we follow up to make sure that we're executing the action plan.
Okay. So what we're going to strive to do is take a look at that, what we had before, and fix it, make it into a policy.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And the statement still stands out there. We still have it on our district website. So it stands for what the board believes in. This then just says, how do our actions take that statement and turn it into things that are actually transacting in the district to actually make the improvements.
And I don't remember, it's been a long 3 years. I don't remember exactly where that statement came into play, but I believe it happened before we started. We hired Adrian and we started the whole process. So that's something that we established several years ago, was our intention and our wish, and we're just working to change that into a policy, but also to make sure everything gets done the way we would like to see it.
You got it.
Mr. Fiorentino?
Go back one slide. The, maybe it was one before that. It was the previous part there we are. So these were currently board policies, right, over the years?
Yep. Okay.
So how does that last slide that we just ended with, does this overlay these? Okay.
It
so
just takes them all and puts them in one succinct place and talks about how we incorporate our practices to make sure that they're equitable. These ones come from specifically law
Right.
that is behind all this, the school code that says these are specific.
Most of this coming from Illinois school code, right? Okay.
And Colleen, if you want to explain on, from your perspective, on just what a statement, what a board policy is, and what the differences of the two of them are, since you're the gatekeeper of all those.
Use.
I would just echo what Superintendent Harkin said. The statement that was adopted, Nancy, to your point, came prior to Adrian coming on board. And I think through their process, they found that it was important to have something codified in our board policies. The policies that you see before you, many of those do reside in both state and federal law that we're required to have. The policy that they've asked you to review tonight and take action on at the next meeting is an optional policy that I think speaks volumes if the board chooses to go down that route. And that will obviously live amongst these policies in our your board policy book, but that would pretty much be the difference between the two.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
So are there any further questions? All right, then I would ask Chris Sainsbury to come to the podium to talk about school improvement plans.
Good evening again, everybody. Thank you, Superintendent Harkin. I am pleased to present an update on our school improvement plans, or SIPs, for the 22-23 school year. Specifically, I will provide the board with notable changes and highlights to our 22-23 approach. In the spring of 2022, the SIP development team met to create a school improvement template that addressed the following key areas: a collaborative vision, alignment to the District 300 strategic plan, duration of the plan, goal areas and components, as well as progress monitoring and accountability measures. As a district, our goal is to support the mission that we will provide engaging and inclusive educational experiences that empower and equip all students to discover, innovate, and succeed now and in the future. Along with the mission, the school improvement process is closely aligned to the outcomes of the new strategic plan, which you can see listed here. You see some key strands. The 22-23 plan is a one-year duration plan. After research and referencing the state's status regarding student assessment data, the SIP development team determined a one-year plan places our schools and district in the best position to make future changes in response to state changes following this school year. The academic goals and activities are developed and implemented by teacher-led collaborative teams, where our action has the greatest impact on student learning. The selected academic goal areas include math and ELA, along with whole child goals inclusive of social emotional learning, equity, and family engagement. The last component of each school's plan is Essa, or Every Student Succeeds Act. As a refresher, Essa replaced the federal accountability framework for schools following No Child Left Behind. Essa uses multiple measures of school performance along with academics. Additional school performance indicators include measures such as chronic absenteeism, English language proficiency, graduation rates, climate surveys, and precise expectations for subgroup performance. On the following slides, I will address each area with some greater detail. Similar to the 21-22 plan, learning standards in ELA and math were selected as the academic focus for the 22-23 school improvement plans. ELA and math standards were chosen due to their overall frequency on IAR, that's the Illinois Assessment of Readiness for our grades 3 through 8 students, and PSAT, SAT, as well as their leverage, readiness, and endurance across the curriculum, so the strength of the standards and how often they occur for our students. These were also standards in which our students demonstrated an area of need. All collaborative teams, regardless of content area, address student learning using the Professional Learning Community, or the PLC process. This consists of prioritizing and unwrapping learning standards, developing formative assessments around learning targets, and making instructional adjustments based on timely and relevant student learning data. The standards for primary grades were selected by following the succession path for grade 3, meaning following those learning strands, for example, kindergarten through 3rd grade, as they match up and align. Throughout the school year, PLCs and building level leadership teams will be able to monitor student learning. During quarter 1, in fact, coming up shortly, each professional learning community team will give a short baseline assessment with 4 questions per district identified standard on our assessment platforms. The purpose of this assessment is to set a baseline for our current set of students. Teams will use this data to develop action plans that address student learning needs, specifically for the students in front of them. On each subsequent district common summative assessment, 4 questions per district identified standard will be added to measure the growth of our students. PLCs will be able to review the data quarterly and also have the opportunity to revise action plans. Under the whole child section of our school improvement plan, each school has developed targets to address the following goal areas: social emotional, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and family engagement. Each of these areas are aligned, again, with the District 300 strategic plan. Examples of social emotional goals apply to adult professional development and restorative practices, school-wide positive behavior systems of support, and morning meetings. Under school-wide equity goals, school-level examples include establishing a school staff equity team and staff professional development. In the area of family engagement, school-level example activities include a measured increase in family participation of school events, such as ELA and math curriculum nights, parent associations, One School, One Book programs, and student family ambassador programs. Our last component is our Essa component. Again, Essa requires states to hold schools accountable for how students achieve. This means each state is responsible for having a plan in place to identify schools that are underperforming. Under the law, there are specific things that must be in each state's Essa plan, such as academic achievement and graduation rate. The remaining indicators are student quality or student success indicators. While all indicators are addressed in our daily work, schools were provided the opportunity to focus on one of the below key indicators for targeted improvement for this year's plan. These indicators include chronic absenteeism, climate surveys such as the 5 essentials, which you might be familiar with, English language proficiency, chronic absenteeism, and 9th grade on track. The executive summaries for each school's 22-23 school improvement plans have been made available for you tonight for discussion. And our upcoming activities include this spring coming back together as that SIP development team to determine our template and our plans moving forward now that we believe the state is in a better place with some of their data decision making so that we can put together a plan that is more than a one-year plan moving forward. What questions do you have?
Board members, Mr. Stevens.
If you recall, during the strategic plan, I was fairly vocal that reading was not included. And I was, over the next couple of weeks, massaged into a place where it was supposed to be part of the math and the ELA. I'm not seeing it. I didn't see reading mentioned once here, and I'm very disturbed by that.
Sure. The strategic plan, throughout the strategic plan, there are action items that are embedded specifically to address reading achievement for students. But if
I do not believe it's getting the proper attention required. That's my bottom line.
Okay, thank you for that feedback.
So just continue. I want to hear what you were going to say.
Yeah, I know that you met with a couple of members of our team specifically to address some of the items under the strategic plan. We know that when we have talked about the strategic plan, we've talked a lot about the strategies that we would use to bring our students up to grade level in ELA and math. Some of the specific action plans that are underneath those strategies are very much driven towards student proficiency at each grade level specifically.
I would just like to add that in this presentation, you do see the words ELA considered multiple times representing English language arts. And the reason why that terminology is being used is because the Illinois State Learning Standards do not specify reading, writing, speaking, and listening in the title. They use that as the all-encompassing word English language arts. Even though when we talk about a learning standard in ELA, it may be a specific reading standard, whether it's on narrative text or informational text, but the actual standards that are adopted by the state that we actually need to align all our instruction to are called the English language arts standards. And so that does not mean that reading is not included in it. It's just the way that the state groups the standards together.
My esteemed colleague here is educating me as you're speaking. And I hear you, but okay, I'd still like to see the word reading in there. Flash reading somewhere. I think it will get more attention.
I think that we can easily accommodate that, but I just want to make sure that you know that actually that is
I get
a
you.
piece
She
of
has educated me, and I appreciate it. Laura educated me, and she did. So, and I appreciate your comments, but I'd still like to see the word in there. I think it'll get more focus.
We could do that for you.
Okay. Any other board members? Okay. Thank you.
All right, and last but not least for the night, we will bring up Dr. Joe Schumacher to talk about our Jacob High School principal retirement and the process we'll be following to replace Mrs. Valley.
Thank you, Mrs. Harkin. Last school board meeting, the school board approved the retirement of Mrs. Valley. That was a key transaction on the HR report. So as a follow-up to that, we are obviously starting to work. The work has begun in terms of finding a replacement for Mrs. Valley. I'd be remiss if I didn't publicly acknowledge her and her dedication and service. The past it's about 7 years and a quarter, but it'll be an 8-year tenure as a Jacobs High School principal in District 300. Truly has dedicated her heart and soul into the job. We're in an age where the principalship, the superintendency, these are leadership positions that we're seeing exodus in 2, 3, 4 years. So a tenure of 8 years is actually very very high in terms of statistically speaking here. So that, and again, she love him or hate it, love or hate it, but she has bled those colors of brown and gold since 2015. So again, a shout out to Mrs. Valley. I know she had to leave, but she was here earlier this evening acknowledging her students. Very quickly, in terms of just a principal search process timeline, as you know from prior searches in the last couple of years, we definitely have a very thorough process, multi-stepped, multi-pronged, that began with advertisement and posting that will conclude October 24th. So we're in the process now of securing candidates, both external and internal, for the position of Jacobs principal. With that pool, shortly thereafter in early November, I'll be holding stakeholder meetings for staff and families, as well as providing a written opportunity for feedback, looking for qualities and characteristics most needed in the Jacobs principal from various stakeholders. That follows with a multiple round interview process. We're also, through our partnership with EAB this year with our leadership development, implementing a strategic thinking case study, providing real-time scenarios to kind of assess their thinking on the spot, specific to strategic thinking and processing. In January, shortly after winter break, we will, at that point, narrow it down to approximately 6 candidates, where we'll bring in various school representatives, additional building principal from the high school level, parent. There'll be a large group panel representing multiple stakeholders from the district level to the school level as well. That group is charged with really narrowing it down to 3 finalists in any order that will first spend the day at Jacobs High School, a combination of touring the building with myself and other colleagues of mine, some classroom visits, as well as just some meet and greet opportunities with various staff and student representatives during the school day. That will set up Mrs. Harkin and Mrs. Vicente for a final round interview in early February, and we hope to bring a recommendation to this board at the February 14th meeting for a July 1 start. So that's the timeline. If there's any questions from the board, I will do my best to answer.
Board members, anything? It's very thorough. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
That concludes the superintendent's report.
Okay, item number 10, items for discussion. I will read each item individually to allow for any discussion. As a note to those in attendance, both virtually and in person, some of these items have been vetted through either the Finance Committee or the Construction Facilities Oversight Committee, CFOC, which is why there may not be a need for new discussion. Item 10.1, Board Meeting Minutes. 10.2, Disposal Report. 10.3, Donation Report, October 2022. 10.4, Treasurer's Report. 10.5, School Improvement Plans. 10.6, E-Learning Program Verification Renewal. 10.7, Equity Action Plan. 10.8, Equity Board Policy. 10.9, Post-Prom Venue Agreement. 10.10, Out-of-District Travel for Students, Washington, D.C. Field Trips. 10.11, Assessment Software. 10.12, Copier Paper Bid. 10.13, PPE and Disposable Gloves Contract Extension. 10.14, Employee Benefits Contracts. 10.15, Parent Group Recognition. 10.16, School Maintenance Project Grant Program. 10.17, Fiscal Year 2023-2024 Budget Calendar and Designee Resolution. 10.18, Freedom of Information Act Report. We're now on item number 11, the consent items. Do I have a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, would you please take the roll?
Zettler,
Aye.
Burkett,
Aye.
Fiorentino,
Aye.
Lamarca, aye. Scarpino,
Aye.
Stevens, Thomas.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Board discussion. Any updates regarding the board committees?
Yes, we met, the combined committee met this afternoon, most of which we just heard in our board agenda. I do want to make a couple comments about a presentation that our guest, Liz Hennessy, did for us. And Mr. Stevens or any other board member that was present, feel free to add just a couple things. And I'd encourage Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind getting this packet to the board members. I know there weren't enough at the meeting, if you could do that, because there's a lot of good stuff in here. I think from planning purposes, what I understand is this will be part of the presentation at our next meeting under tax levy. But let me just read a few things that stood out to me. The refunding bonds generated savings, and this is referring to what we did back in January, generated savings of 18.9, just under $18.9 million of interest cost to the taxpayers. The average annual savings for $300,000 market value home in our community would be $37 annually, or about $367 through 2031. And then one other statement that I thought we probably should have led with this, given the benefits of some funding models as well as careful budget management. Thank you to Jennifer, Ms. Harkin, and others. The district is in the best financial shape in 20 years. I think a very strong statement. So those were some of the standouts to me. She presented some options for us on financing, and they were very interesting, I would say. What do you think, Mr. Stevens?
It's interesting because it was one of the best finance committee meetings I think we've had in a long time.
Right.
Several of us, myself for sure, went into this wanting to reduce the district's debt burden and not just refinance it, but actually pay it off. And when you look at it, there's no financial sense to do that. The savings to the taxpayer is so minimal. I think you mentioned $37 a year. It wouldn't even be noticed and would potentially harm us in the future. So we kind of switched our thought at that point. We had a very in-depth discussion. I wish more people would have been there. But I likened it, and this is not a political statement, but I likened it to the state of Illinois sending me a $50 check. Really? I mean, a $50 check, is that supposed to sway me a lot or be a real incentive for me? It may be for some. While I appreciated the check, it doesn't change my life. $37 off your school board taxes are not going to change your life. However, it's also proven that if school districts do that and abate taxes or pay off debt, that 5 years later when they need money and they go to the public for a referendum, they are not rewarded for that. This school district has not had a referendum since 2006, which was approved heavily influenced by Mrs. Zettler, who worked her butt off to get that thing passed, and her crew. But let me just say that we have to do what is best for the students of this community and the taxpayers. And I think our thinking has shifted after hearing this report, because we also have, over the course of the last several years, refinanced most of our debt to where our interest rates are now 2%. You aren't probably going to see those again in the near future, if ever. And we said that before, and you may see them again, but not in the near future. And so why would we want to take a 2% debt and send $37 a year back to an individual taxpayer when we could use that money, possibly even invest it in appropriate ways, which the state tells us how to do, and get more money back than to refund somebody $37. So I just wish more people had heard that discussion. It was a good one. I think we're doing what's in the best interest of the school district, and thank you for letting me comment.
I just add to that is, and the public will hear most of the discussion, sounds like in our next meeting. I too changed my mind a little bit after hearing the presentation as to what my thinking is, but I'm going to do my best to keep my mind open and hear it as part of the whole presentation that I believe Jennifer's going to be giving to us at our next meeting. So, but I too, Mr. Stevens, agree with that statement, and that is, I thought I was in line with let's give a little money back, but what it might mean to our school children and our school district may outweigh that. So,
I'd also like to comment that we have a wonderful team of outside people that help us with these decisions. And thank you to Mrs. Harkin for, I think, did you hook us up with Liz years and years ago?
I was with Dr. Kreitz when that happened, so I can't take full
Thank you to Dr. Kreitz for hooking us up with her, because she is really a valuable resource. We have many of those valuable resources that help educate us. So,
our next meeting will be November 7th, and go ahead.
So, I know I've said this a billion times, but I'll say it another billion, if it may sink into everybody. We have one of the best financial teams, in my opinion, in the state. And when we're talking about the referendum back in '05, people don't understand how close we came to being taken over by the state, which would have been horrible, and they would have raised our taxes exponentially. We wouldn't have gotten half of what we have now. But because of these women in the room and the people that have worked with them, and Liz and other people who have worked with us, we not only recovered fully, we're doing a lot more with less money than most other districts in the state. In fact, I think last time was it $2,000-3,000 per kid less than the average.
That's about $2,500.
Right. So we're doing a lot with less money. And that comes from our facilities team, that comes from our finance team, that comes from everybody sitting in this room and everybody who has a hand in educating these kids. This is something that has been on our agenda since I've been involved in this district 22 years ago. And it wasn't because of me. They were like that. You know, we had our issues, but we overcame those issues. And from that moment on in '06, '05, we were being fiscally responsible. A team of us went to the administration back then and said, we will help you pass these, try to help you pass these referendums, but you have to promise us, one, that we will not have another referendum in at least a decade, and we've gone way past that. And two, you will be transparent about all of your finances and everything. You're going to be squeaking every penny out of this, and they've done it. They've done it. We just built a school without a referendum. That's almost unheard of these days. So, you know, they did it.
Thank you, Mike.
So let's be thankful that we have the teams we have. Again, everybody in this district works every day for the right reasons, and they're here for the kids, and they're here for the stakeholders. Believe it or not, we try our best to make sure that we use your taxpayer dollars responsibly. So.
Any other comments from board members? Leslie? No? Tonight, I would like to announce the Board of Education is beginning the process of selecting the next District 300 superintendent. District 300's current superintendent, Susan Harkin, will retire at the end of the 2023-2024 school year. The board looks forward to working closely with Superintendent Harkin over the next 21 months. Selecting a superintendent is the most important duty of the school board. And while 21 months may feel like a long time away, we have proactively identified the current labor market as a potential challenge for any school board in the state seeking to hire the best candidates for their respective district. In fact, The Illinois School Board Association has shared that there are more superintendent vacancies than high-quality candidates. Therefore, the District 300 Board of Education believes we are best positioned to identify the ideal candidate for our district by beginning the superintendent selection process now. The board has identified the first task in the selection process is to determine who within the District 300 organization is qualified, certified, and interested in the superintendent position. We are fortunate that several District 300 employees meet these requirements. As a board, we believe there are many benefits to hiring a qualified internal candidate. First, hiring an internal candidate will allow Superintendent Harkin to work closely with the person to develop a successful transition plan. Next, if the board identifies a high-quality internal candidate, the candidate can assist with how we implement our newly adopted strategic plan. Additionally, an ideal internal candidate will have strong relationships with our existing staff, allowing us to continue our efforts to improve our educational system. Other reasons for hiring an internal candidate include helping the district retain our best staff members, costing the district less money and time, reducing the learning curve for a new superintendent, and hiring someone who has a proven cultural fit with District 300. As Superintendent Harkin was an internal candidate, we have seen firsthand the benefits of hiring an internal candidate. Once all interested and qualified candidates have been identified, I, in consultation with individual board members, will determine the dates and times the entire board can interview the internal candidates. The board may also ask candidates to meet with other stakeholder groups for their input. Finally, after all internal interviews have been completed, the board will determine if any internal candidates will move forward in the hiring process. Please know that the selection and decision of who will be the next District 300 superintendent rests solely with the Board of Education. And in our effort to maintain transparency, we will provide the community with updates throughout this process during future board meetings. With that said, may I have a motion to suspend open session and move into closed session for the purpose of number one, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body, 2(1). Number two, litigation, 2(11). And 4, security procedures in school building safety and security, and the use of personnel to respond to an actual, a threatened, or a reasonably potential danger to safety of employees, students, staff, the public, or public property, 2(8), with no action to follow the closed session. Do I have a motion? And a second. Madam Secretary, would you please take the roll?
Aye. Tarantino? Burkett? Aye. Scarpino?
Aye.
Thomas? Aye. Stevens?
Aye.
Lamarca? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. We're adjourned for closed session.